Hey, you out there. Hey, you. Here's a little bit of advice. Now, people said, can I give them some advice about working on movies? I'm going to be working on one starting on Monday. Hopefully more than one day. Sometimes you get one day. Sometimes you're a day player. Sometimes you're doing background for one day. Sometimes maybe you're doing it under 5 and you're only going to be there one day. Sometimes there's only one part for you. I was playing on one show. I can't tell you what it's called. Well, either one. One time they were looking for someone to be a janitor, and a guy complained because we were just doing featured background. He didn't want to. He said, "Why is a black guy always got to be the janitor? Why can't a white guy be a janitor?" Yeah, I never get to play janitor, but they'll tell us what they want. And they booked us to play something based on our look, because when your background is going to be your look, it might be your size. We're looking for large guys. We're looking for tall guys. We're looking for small women, tall women, heavy women. That kind of thing. So it's basically your look. You're a walking prop that eats. But here's some advice to those of you that want to act. You got to be careful what you do. Okay, I was on a film. I can't tell you what that one was. And it involved guns. Some people call them pew-pews. Why do you call them pew-pews? I don't know, a lot of people think YouTube must be really stupid. Like, if you want to put on, he was a killer, it would be K, star LLER or something, yeah. That was just what it is. We were on a weapons call, and a friend of mine, not really a friend. Lots of ways say a friend of mine. Hey, this is my friend Bill. Hey, Bill. And this is Susan. Hey, Susan. This is my friend Susan. And really neither one of your friends. They're your co-worker that you're friendly with. They know you, you know them. We joke around on set, but we don't correspond during the week, really, until we work together again. It might be something like, wow, it sure was hot out there. Did you guys get enough water? I brought my big blue water bottle and drank it 4 times. Things like that. But you're not going to talk about, today I came home and Junior got a D in arithmetic. They don't say arithmetic anymore. In mathematics and algebra, or whatever it is, in trig and whatever it is. But he got a D. Oh, D. Oh, D. What are we gonna do? But you don't really talk about that kind of stuff. But anyway, we were on this one, and this guy he sets up squibs and all that. He is in the stuntman's union, and he does specialized weapons. What I do is I'm more of an advice person. I'm a Soviet weapons specialist. American weapons inspector. So basically, I'm pretty much in the know from really in the know from the end of Korean War to present. People say, well, the rifle we shoot now is different than the Rick Standard M16, right? But it's an AR-15 style rifle. It's the same thing. It can be longer, shorter, have a scope, not have a scope. But basically the fundamentals, the operation, the tactics are usually exactly the same. On that one, I was working with them on kind of running through some scenarios with a Hogan's Alley, the Hogan's Heroes, Hogan. But anyway, you go through and you shoot. Usually in the old days it was all live ammo, and they have little targets popping up, and you'd go and you breach a building or whatever, and the breach comes to the back. I don't know. But anyway, you would do that. So there was an individual there. He was picked to be one of the guys who was taken hostage, tied up. Oh, let me go. I didn't do anything. But it was that kind of a thing, and it was a law enforcement based production. Not that it was politically that. It was just the story was that. It was a thing, and there was a woman there. There was a sheriff's office. And then there was a small department, and they're getting the call like, hey, it's a mutual aid. Some call them a MA or MA, a mutual aid association. The situation like Pasadena Police Department might call South Pasadena and put out the word, hey, we need, and then they might also call the LA Sheriff's Department, which we're all within the sheriff's territory, jurisdiction. They may call the Highway Patrol because we need more officers. This is a terrible thing that's happening here in Pasadena, California, or Monrovia. Monrovia might call in Duarte. Monrovia might call Arcadia, California, Azusa. Duarte has a sheriff's department, but they would call and they do a mutual aid, and this is kind of based on a mutual aid situation. And we were there. The whole part of the film that we filmed was probably maybe 4 minutes in the movie, but that's a long time. 4 minutes in the movie, you can get really featured in 4 minutes. because there's dialogue, there's action happening around you. Like maybe I get shot. Get one of those. And you could get something good. I don't know how long it was, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, when it's all said and done. But we were there probably 6 or 7 days. 6 or 7 days. So there was a guy there. I'm sorry, but the one young lady. Can you say young lady? I don't know what the proper term is now, but she was obviously female. 5'9", maybe about 2 inches shorter than me. And she was slender, a size 0, maybe not a double 0, maybe a size 2. I don't know. But she was probably on, I would imagine, 36 to 38, 22, 40. I'm pretty good at guessing because, wow, you got my measurements perfect. And I got that because I used to have to identify things. Like if someone was coming up and holding a gun, I'm going to kill you. And you're like, don't kill me. How tall was he? I don't know. Huge. He was probably 11 feet tall and he was carrying a cannon. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, well, he was holding a 22 pistol. And, okay, when he's facing you, where was he standing? Right there, right? Because you're at your desk. Okay, the 4-drawer filing cabinet. Did it come up to his shoulder, maybe? Oh, down here. Where do you think that came up to? I don't want to lead you. So it could be anywhere. He could be so tall it came up to his waist. He could be so short it was over his head. But the corner of that filing cabinet, if you stand right there, where do you think that was? Maybe about an inch or so. But okay. And his head, our head, people think your head is above your shoulders. Well, your head kind of hooks on, in your, like if you're talking, your chin's down, your head's smaller, your chin's up, then your head and your neck are taller. And I would be very good at that. How tall? Did he have hair? What kind of hair did he have? But anyway, so I'm pretty good at guessing that. And then she said that she's not anti-police. She's not defund the police, but she thinks that some police do things wrong. And I said, you're right. Some do. Everyone does. I mean, I can remember when they're in a situation, like I say, a shoot, don't shoot kind of a situation at the range. That's one thing. If you do wrong at the range, you get a, hey, man, next time you better shoot that target over there. But if it's live and they're pointing a gun at them, that could be the difference between living and dying. And they can make that decision in seconds. And then it's going to be analyzed for weeks, months, years. the guy or the gal or the girl or the guy or the man or the woman or the whatever they identify as only has a split second. She wasn't anti-gun. She just thought she wasn't anti-gun. She wasn't anti-police. She just thought there's some. So there was a guy there, and he was trying to like hit on her, and he was in the Marine Corps. He's not an ex-Marine; he's a former Marine, but he was in the whole time in the Marine Corps less than 2 years. So he went to boot camp, as they call it. We call it basic training in the Air Force. Then he went on to his other school, which could be called MOS, I guess, or I don't know what exactly the Army has, the Marines have, the Coast Guard, but he had some form of after basic training or boot camp. Maybe he went to like an infantry, rifleman kind of a thing, and then. But anyway, he's in there for less than 2 years. Less than 2 years. And he was talking earlier about the responsibilities and all the responsibility I had. I was responsible for all these men. Little did he know, he was talking to a guy who had a lot more time in and a lot more than he did. He had a boop, beep, and I had boop, 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 boop. Rub your snotty nose up and down these stripes, private. Okay, and he's talking about that and this. So that gets up. And so I kind of gave him the, but he didn't catch on. So he was talking about calling the Air Force the chair force. That's funny. And he said all we ever do is sit in chairs and type letters and watch television. A lot of people would want that job. Hey, in wartime, instead of going to war and risking your life, what you're going to do is you're going to type letters and then watch television. Oh, yeah, and also eat steaks at every meal. We do get steaks on the weekend. But the rest wasn't true. I didn't sit in chairs. I stood up in front of a group of people and I taught them. Then we got in a vehicle and we drove to the range. And then I got up and I walked back and forth 100 yards in the gravel. We talk about getting big legs. You get big legs and that really works them. I did not sit down. No, I was not a sitter. I did not sit. I sat to go number 2. I sat to do my paperwork at the end of the day. And I sat while we operated the motor vehicle. That was it throughout the entire day. Just didn't sit. We would sometimes get to have a lunch break. If we had a lot of training, we might take a lunch break in between. A lot of times it's just, eat your sandwich while they're downrange, doing whatever. Say, okay, you guys go and start eating, and they'll eat some food. And then the next time, you guys eat some food, and you bring your own lunch. But, so he was doing that. And then he heard that she was not anti, but she kind of thought there's a lot of problems with the government, the way things are going. So I think this is right after... Was it after the first King's Day or No King's Day or Ding Dong King or Burger King or I don't know, something, Nat King Cole and whatever. I don't know what it was, someday. And he said that, I was out there protesting because I think that we need to, basically he's reading back what she said. Like, as if his head was a tape recorder. He recorded it, and then they push play. Yeah, I don't like the police. Police are bad. Some police are... And all she was saying is some are good, some are bad. We do need law enforcement. We need the military, but we need to be careful. I said, you're absolutely right. For a guy that taught shooting all these years, very, very dangerous. Every single day, fires, bang, 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 bang. And she wasn't like that for the other troops. He says, no, absolutely not. We taught shooting. So when you teach shooting, people are going to shoot. Just the way it is. Every single day. Every day. I carried a gun 5 or 6 days a week. You got this, sometimes rifle, sometimes shotgun. Every day. Carry a weapon. So we were immersed in it. It was all up. And then so he says this. So he's going, and she's kind of listening to what he's saying. It was just a group of people, and we were all staged, and they had to sit there. So you guys can talk amongst yourselves. We're just going to go stage. There's some lighting around. If something we're going to turn it around, that means that when they're filming this way, and we're in a situation, then the other way they turn the cameras around, and maybe it's the back of us, and they're filming somebody else. It's called a turnaround, and they're doing that. They're changing some lenses, and they're waiting for a lens to come in from something Vision. It's a company that makes those big, the big cameras. Now they're smaller cameras than they used to be. No smoking around the camera, but so he couldn't stop. He couldn't stop. So he said that him and his group, they call themselves like Marine something. It's an after Marine group that he's in, and they're very pro-American, but they don't like the things that Trump is doing because Trump is trying to be a king, and that's kind of what the conversation was between her and someone else. I was at this point, I'm trying to read a book because I'm like, this might get ugly. He might say something stupid, they say something stupid, and all that. So he says that at their protest. At the protest they had, a group of these American veterans that are pro-America, and they want the Constitution to be enforced. They want that, and they want this. A lot of people say, if you want the Constitution enforced, why did Biden not enforce the border? I don't know. That's another thing which comes up still, and there's a new theory about that. We can cover that later. Don't forget to remind me. I'll remind you to remind me about that. But anyway, so he starts saying, though, we got really mad. We were cussing at him, and we were walking up, and then we started throwing frozen water bottles and rocks at him. And I said, hey, Junior, come here. I need to talk to you for a second. Yeah. And so I told him my rank, my what my position was in the military, and how many of these I had versus his. Boop, boop. And I said, look, you were in for 2 years, less than 2 years. I was in for over 18. Over 16, 17. I was in for 17. I got 16 good years with my last year. I left and I didn't complete. But I wasn't kicked out. I didn't have a medical or mental discharge. I wasn't shot and killed. But I said, you got to stop, man. You got to stop. They're not going to use you again. You want to work many days in this, right? And he had a good look. He looked like a guy that could have been a Marine or a police officer. He could play military or police, law enforcement. And I said, you want to come back, right? He said, yeah, you're not going to come back. They're going to cut you. They're right now in the back. They're talking. They call it the video hut, or video village, or video hut, and it's a big like tarp thing that goes over it's like a tent, like easy up, but with sides on it. And they're looking at stuff and they're talking, discussing shots. They're doing playback. They don't want us. Hey man, look, there's me. I gotta tell my mom, look, I'm right there. Blah blah. They don't want that. They never want that. Sometimes they'll call you in and say, "Hey David, that was really funny." It says go when you go by so and so. Look surprised. I go because I know it's a rehearsal. Like I fell off of a cliff, but I know that's not what you're supposed to do. But anyway, that's there. And I said that right now they're talking. Do we want to get rid of that guy? He might be a little. They're right now they're talking about that. I don't want you to get paranoid. I don't want you to go in there and cause problems. But I'm telling you, if you are talking the way you're talking, you're about to go. But it's true. I know that's a lie. That's a big pile of bull. You know what the other word was. You're lying. You're fat mouthing. You're about to go home. And this could be 7 or 8 days here. You want 7 or 8 days of pay versus 1. What if one of these days here is a really good day? We get a lot of overtime. Or what if they're going to spray water in the air and we get extra money for this? This could be all nothing but good. 7 or 8 days. we're guaranteed we're locked in for 6. So that means if I only work 2, they have to pay for the other 4 because I locked in. I said, there's nothing bad about this, but you're making it bad because they're not going to put you on there. How do you know it's not true? I go, are you alive? Yeah. That's not true. Yeah, if you start throwing projectiles at the President of the United States, someone's going to fill you up. They're going to light you up like a Christmas tree. More than one of the Secret Service or the local officials, maybe the FBI, they're all there. People think, it's just the Secret Service, 3 guys or whatever. No. There's snipers on the roof. There's helicopters flying over in the old days. Now it's drones probably. Probably drones armed with something. You know, they have drones that can fire a single shot. They have sniper drones. They can take you out. You would be dead right now. Yeah, it wouldn't be, well, maybe he'd be alive because he only got shot 15 times. You know, he had, maybe, what if he had 9 millimeter rounds here and maybe 5.56, 223 M16 rounds in his head, and maybe for good measure, a 50 caliber round through his chest, and basically it's just shreds. It's stinky gray matter in shreds. That would be you. Was that on the news? No. Did they cover that up? Are you a ghost? Woo, look at me. I threw rocks at the President of the United States. No, you didn't. No. So you're a liar. You're fat-mouthing till you think people that don't know. But she was going like this to me when you were doing that. But they're going, I don't want to get her in trouble. She was going like that. And this is not good. And that was at you. So I don't want you to get paranoid. I don't want you to do anything stupid. I don't want you going, what you need to do, I always carry a book. So when people started talking to me, I think I was 62, maybe. I may have already turned 63. I don't know. What I do is I bring a book. I used to what I do. I'd bring a reading book that I like to read, and then I'd bring a textbook. A textbook, yeah. I went to one of those friends of the library bookstores, and all the hardback books were on sale for $2. Some had like a little tag on there. They were like a big, book of World War II hand-drawn photos. They had drawn things of like tanks, and it's all hand illustrated and beautiful, or whatever. And then some waterfalls and Polynesian waterfalls, and a big book that you put on your coffee table. Those might be $4. So I bought a book on college intermediate algebra. I hate algebra, right? We'll never use it, but use it every day. So I had that, and I had 3 or 4 pencils in a little pencil thing. And I wrote on the little envelope thing, math pencils, because you want to do all your math work in pencils so you can read. And I would go like this, oh, you know what? We got a test. Today's Tuesday. Got a test on Thursday. Whew. And I'm having a little trouble. So as long as if they're young, I can help you. Oh, no, that'd be cheating. If you help me now and then I go sit down to take that test, I won't know it. So I really gotta do that. So if you can give me a minute, I'm going to go and do that. But anyway, so I got him to shut up, to get a book. Here's a book, and I hand him a book, and I don't know what it was about, Nancy Drew. And just go in there and say, hey guys, I'm going to go read. And go in the corner, get yourself a coffee or whatever you drink from the Crafty. Maybe get yourself a bowl full of Raisin Bran, milk and a spoon. Get yourself a handful of chocolate, M&Ms, and go over there and sit down and shut up. Just shut up. Don't speak unless you're spoken to. You might be going through the line when we go to lunch. Wow, doesn't that steak look yummy? Thank you so much. And be like that. Be like this guy. Yeah, I was in the military. They ask me questions. I don't put up squibs on people. Like I said, I don't do stunt work with squibs. I'm more of information like this range is wrong. That's wrong. This is wrong. Usually I go through and I'm like, this is wrong guy. Because a friend of mine will be doing it. And if I'm booked on the same one, if it's gun related, a lot of times I'll be there with others. But I don't say anything. If they set it up and they say I'm taking a 6-shot revolver and I'm firing 19 rounds without reloading, like in the old Western movies, this is single action, and this is double action. Yeah, so they're pulling back the hammer, and they're fanning it, and bang, 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 and there's a guy in a building like 300 yards away. Without even looking at me, and that's fake. That's impossible. No one can shoot like that. But if they tell me to do that, I do that. Yeah. You'll see like this. Oh, the guy's walking through the hallway. When each time he does that, a round kicks out. So then he's empty. I think it was in the movie where Denzel Washington was a drug dealer. I can't remember what it's called. But they were doing that. They're chasing after him. Yeah, that's right. They should do that. Then they're going, empty, live round on the ground. Another empty, another loud, and then, but that was all wrong. But anyway, don't forget, subscribe, like, share, and put your comments. If you're on set, can you keep your whoop, whoop, closed? Basically, if your background, speak only when spoken to. Yeah. With the other background, don't get involved in a thing. They were telling me things like, well, you know that, Trump is going to go to the big house. He's going to go not going to the White House. He's going to the big house. He's going to go to prison. He's not even going to make it through the prime. No, guys, he's going to be your next president. Biden will lose to Trump. We all knew that. Everybody knew that. Biden knew it. And then Kamala, she knew it. George Clooney wouldn't donate any more money. When their biggest donors say, I'm not going to throw away good money after bad or whatever, I'm not going to put out any, that's a bad sign. So I knew that. But don't get involved in that stuff. If they start talking about that, here's a book on this guy. He passed away, but he asked me to go to see his class. I used to compete in blackjack tournaments, so he wanted me to go to do his class and tell people what I thought of it. He's now passed away. Very nice guy, great blackjack player. Basic strategy plus is what I call that guy. He would just walk in. He's like the guy you think he never would lose. When I first started playing blackjack, I want to be the guy that wins money most of the time. If I take $100 in the casino, I want to have a good night, drink a couple of beers. Back then when I drank beer, maybe get comped for a meal and take that $100 up to $500. That'd be a great night. And then sometimes I want to go in and take that $100 and lose it all, because you have to lose some to be considered, someone that want to do it. But anyway, I would just take this book and I'd like something. I go, if you start talking about something, I go, oh, very interesting. But if I don't learn this blackjack stuff, man, the casino's going to fire me. This is my book to learn blackjack deal. I play blackjack. That's like saying, well, I breathe air. Okay. So I got to learn this stuff. Thank you so much for that interesting tidbit you're talking about. The time you swam across the river and pushed George Washington back in the boat, and he lived. Very interesting. It might as well be talking about the stuff this guy was talking about. So do you believe he threw rocks and frozen water bottles and cans at the President of the United States with full security component there? Do you believe that happened? No, I know you don't, because you're not stupid. Him, yes. But he got so into it. He's fat-mouthing to the point to make himself look like a hero. And it wasn't working with her, because she was like, oh my God, thank God you took him out of the other room. I was about to just go, I was going to go talk to the PA, production assistant, or the AD, one of those two. I was going to talk to somebody about that guy and then get him removed, and she could have, because a woman can get a man removed pretty easy, especially if there's witnesses of him doing wrongdoing. And I would think that he was doing the wrongdoing because she's a very beautiful woman, young woman, pretty. She's one of those extent. She's a pretty, beautiful, cute, sexy, all together. She's just like, going to make a lot of money acting. I'm not talking about anything dirty, just. There's roles for that, a lot of roles. And then one day she'll be older and she'll be like me, going, look at that, walking around them short booty shorts, me with the old ladies, the old crow table. I can't believe I'm not old enough to sit at the old crow table. I used to sit at the kids table. I was in my 30s, but when it first started, I guess. But no, I was 40. Yeah, that's 42. But anyway, I could sit at the younger people. Now, get that guy out of here. Give him some Ben Gay and sit him over there in the corner. And so I tell them a war story. They go, were you in World War One? Yeah. But anyway, so she was making me suggest if you do, people have asked me for some advice that can get you a lot, things that can get you in trouble for that you really are so simple not to do, and it doesn't cost you any money. Just when you get there, bring yourself a book, keep your mouth shut. You can talk to people about something, but as soon as it gets a little controversial, if it's religion, politics, the ones. Just, hey guys, this has been very interesting, but if I don't get this read, and sometimes I'll pick up on it. Junior wasn't picking up, so I had to take him away and tell his name wasn't Junior. I don't know what it was, but he was like, I don't know, he's in the military for 2 years. So, that's it. So be careful. Just, yeah. They don't want to hear it. She didn't enjoy that conversation for 1 second. No, she was talking to me about what I did in the military, and we started talking. Oh yeah, he also did it. They don't shoot guns in the Air Force. So that too. So that doesn't make him look too intelligent. You know, like everything he said, it was like opposite day or, you know, Freaky Friday or something going on. But yeah, just don't do that. Don't do that. They'll fire you. And he got fired. I never saw him again. Yeah, but his name was on this one, and then I got the thing, and then about a half hour later I got the call sheet for the day of filming, and he wasn't on there. So it means somebody, not me, I was working, turned him in and said, hey, I can work with the guy. You know, I don't care. But I'm used to being up here when it comes to rank, and he would be off camera. So I was here, and he was, so I'm kind of used to that. And I dealt with it all the time. People fat mouthing, and, you know, I used to take my grandpa's rifle and do this, and no, you didn't. So, but the stars are the ones that you want, that need that attention, not you. You're not going to get that attention. Then I could walk over and say, hey, what's that guy talking about? Oh, he's talking about, he was throwing bottles and rocks, frozen bottles and rocks at the President of the United States. And he lived to tell about it? Oh, yeah. Wow, I hate Trump. Orange man bad. Orange man bad. Orange man bad. Orange man bad. I get it. You don't like Trump. He did that for us? For our cause? He threw rocks? Well, yeah. I won't go talk to him. Well, you'll be talking to the dead because he's dead. What do you mean? You can't do that. They'll kill you. You mean he's lying? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Go talk to him. I don't know. Anyway. Have a great weekend. It is Friday. This video will be out tomorrow because I got the one I did film for tomorrow. I'm going to put out on Monday when I'm on set. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.